And that should do it on the keyframing. So let's render that. So yeah, that works pretty well. We might want to give this a little bit more time, just to kind of fade out with the laser. So let's give it our fade out. Basic motion, fade in, fade out. No fade out time, however, much more no, I'm getting this all mixed up today. No more of the fade in time, but make it a much longer fade out time. Actually, no, scratch that. Make this 14 on the fade out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's render that. Alright, and let's play it. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have ever seen a laser burning something, but normally there is smoke, and there are a bunch of flashes, and there are sparks. I've accounted for the flashes, however not for the smoke or the sparks. I also said I was going to put an aura filter on this, so I'll just do that rather quickly. You can see how that made it a bit more realistic. So now that we've done that, the laser is done. So what we're going to do now is we want to go into our library. We want particle emitter, smoke, just your basic smoke. No, not basic smoke. Not black smoke. Certainly not cartoon smoke. Certainly not that. I would probably go with a rising smoke. That seems like the most realistic scenario here. Once again, it's in the wrong group. I always forget that as well. Manzi. Okay, let's try that again. Select the project and drag rising smoke on to our area here. You can see how that makes a very bad looking smoke effect. You want just your particle emitter selected, and for whatever reason it is emitting in more directions than we want. I want this to be thin. And let's bring the birth rate up to 500%. And it also needs to end at frame 30, like the rest of them. So let's bring that back. Frame 34 in this case. And at frame 30, you're going to go into your inspector, make a keyframe on birth rate, go ahead to frame 33, another keyframe on birth rate, and make your birth rate 0. So you may notice how we have to keyframe this as well. So it's in position, go ahead to the end by frame 30. This is moving along here. That's better. Turn that off. Rendering. Alright, that should just about do it. And now we have smoke. But we still are missing one key part of this, and that is the sparks. You know, I just had a realization that if you wanted to have a very quick and easy and dirty way of doing the flicker on the text, you could have just taken the darn flare, but it's not much fun. So we have all these different sparkles. I think I'm actually going to go for glitter sparkles. Bring that back to frame 1. And this is going at the beginning of our text, right there. And we don't want it going in all directions. We only want it going one way. So let's change emission range to be in that direction. And we're going to turn the entire thing right about there, I'd say. I think a shorter emission range would do us better here. A lower birth rate would also do us good. Maybe make the scale a bit more, lower the birth rate, and let's go into our inspector, see if there's anything else we want to change. That all looks pretty good. We want to bring up the speed and make them go at 1000%. Bring that up to 1000. And that just about does it there. So let's just see how this looks. Oh, no, that doesn't just about do it. Our sparks end at 3942. At frame 30, the birth rate is set to 0. Here's birth rate. Here's birth rate. Keyframe. Go in 4 frames. Birth rate is now 0. So it stops giving off the particles. We need more time for those particles to dissipate. And you may notice how it's staying in one place, so let's fix that. By frame 30, it needs to have made it to the end. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. A number of various components that just have to be played with as you see fit. So, let's render that. And it keeps going and going and going and going and going until it finally stops. Okay, so I don't know why I just did that, but anyways, let's bring this into full screen and let's see how that turned out. So this is actually more sophisticated than the one I have currently been using. So I suppose why not export it, and seeing as I have not yet put together the main part of this tutorial, you will actually be seeing this at the beginning of this tutorial. So you can see how I'm starting to create infinite paradoxes here. Yeah, anyways, so why did I just do that? Nancy, get out of there. One thing that everyone always forgets to do, and it bites them in the dust: save your project. Laser. Why did I type a V? Laser, text, save. So that's all there is to tell you about this little intro. If you want to get the project file Or if you have any questions, you can email us at thefinalcutters@gmail.com. Hopefully you can remember that. And I will see you in our next tutorial.